This video will trigger you and offend you in some way. You have been warned. And how about them characters? Oh my god, what a dumpster fire. You know you did poorly when Tom, a side character, is your best character by a country mile. Half the crap Tom did should have been what Star did. How in the world are you going to develop Tom decently but throw meatballs towards your main character?
That ball is absolutely crushed!
Want to know why Tom is better than Star? Simple. He's more real. He's flawed, but he reflects, he retools, he reloads, and he reevaluates himself for the better version of himself and for the benefit of others. He has actual development. And if we want to tiptoe into Tom Star, as much as it should be in game, let's be real, Tom is way too good for Star. Star deserves to be glued to a muddy log and to a goddamn. This man has done everything to better himself for the sake of himself and because he truly loves Star. He even loves Star to the point that he let her go because it made her happy. What do we have here? A character that's compassionate, looks out for others, grows from his mistakes, extremely likable, gets crap done without several bailouts, all while being much weaker than a certain heroine. Sounding like what should have been Star, your main character, Darren. Tom said he was inspired by Star wanting to be a better princess, which makes me laugh because he does a far better job than better himself than the person who inspired him. Talk about ironic. Star is pretty much the exact same person from season 1, barely if not at all shown any improvement. And as we allow her to go into the depths of being one gigantic Mary Sue. You know, I'm not exactly sure what's the benefit of the appeal to let's make a female lead to Mary Sue's, and if we're feeling cute, make them bisexual for no reason. We've seen companies use this card before in order to draw views to their failing shows, like the primest example, Korasami. And now diving some more into Star, how she's just awful. Like, not only in character, but in personality. Like, this girl is a whore, seriously. Star Butterfly is the pinnacle of doing nothing to prepare for anything groundbreaking, goofing off all the time, not giving a single rat's tail about the events around her, and when approached by a titanium wall, she just bursts through it with a tinfoil hammer. Like, seriously, can someone say Mary Sue again? Seriously, you cannot convince me that Star had a chance in hell to realistically beat Tomfy, and performing the magic that she has throughout the show, all while doing nothing to prepare to become even mediocre in. Like the first episode of season 4, Star can do magic without her wand all of a sudden. You know, instead of layering out throughout the season, Star mastering life without her wand, making this a major subplot for the season, having an episode dedicated to her practicing mastering the art, all for her efforts to bear fruit towards the end. Instead of Star just doing nothing and pulling BS after BS out of her whatever like a well-oiled gay bar. And above all, as mentioned before, it's the fact that she's a freaking cunt. Like, seriously, this girl is horrible. Like, this is the person you relate to. Some dumb chick that fills out every check of the typical dumb retarded blonde. I mean, I feel so sorry for the poor bastard engaged you right now because you gotta be a class A whore to be anything like Star. Which, honestly, after seeing most of the Star gossipers, I would not be surprised actually. And, wait, hold on, wait a minute. So, you mean to tell me that Star was based from Darren herself? This lazy, annoying, unbearable, cheating pile of garbage is based from Darren? You know, that explains a lot actually. And while on topic, I find it hilarious that the character that was based on her abusive boyfriends is an overall better character than the one based on herself. Are you sure they were the abusive ones or just victims of a freaking whore? Anyway, Star acts nothing more than a spoiled little inconsiderate twat who brushes off her problems to others, plays victim like a fiddle, needs people to get crap done for her, an impulsive fool, and just an overall train wreck. not get me started on the whole cheating biz, especially with the pure hypocrisy from Starco shippers. And if there's one thing I hate the most above all faces of the planet, are hypocrites. Okay, how in the world, Starco shippers, are you gonna rag on Marco for not realizing Star's feelings before she left Earth, then guilt trip him while ignoring how much of a twat Star was in that situation, then proceed to flip the script, defend Star while she willingly kisses Marco, and knowing daggone well and saying herself, I quote, she has a boyfriend?
Hypocrite 1. A person who engages in the same behavior.
We're not even in this shipping segment yet, and I will tell you faggots right now, you are the very definition of human waste. Go die in a dumpster fire. Moving along, the only character that I think is worse than Star's Ponyhead, and you can make arguments that Jackie, Jada, even Kelly are far better characters than Star, and a hell load more likable. Especially Jackie. If you follow my channel, you hear me saying this a lot, that Jackie is a huge waste of potential. This is not so much about Jarko while it plays a part, and I'll get to that later. It's more about how Jackie as a whole was just one big swing and a miss. Now, this will be installed into the storyline when Tana Star's in-game and Jarko happens, alongside Marco's Monster Uncommon set. This will be a little tap into her potential just to showcase what you could do with her and what could have been. So not everything will be super detailed in case you notice. Now, some concepts may sound a little confusing at first, but give it time, let me explain, it'll make sense in time. Okay, here it is. Jackie's background has been an unknown throughout her airtime. You can use these unknowns to your advantage. Use them to paint her to relation to the events of Muni regarding Eclipsa. Now hear me out, I'm going to explain this concept slowly. Make her a descendant of Eclipsa alongside Meteora. Create an arc, make it one big secret into what will be the perfect time to reveal or at least peek major hints for the fans around a sleepover episode with the Truth Box. But minor hints will be teased throughout the series until it's made a main topic again around a sleepover episode. These small hints will be trickled down when Marco is still trying to get to know Jackie, and certain reactions to questions and uncertainty and hesitation regarding some magic topics. But don't make it too obvious, make it somewhat subtle. You got to avert the conspiracy theories with some smoke bombs. For example, have a smoke bomb be the fact that magic is still so new to Earth and begins to spread and pique the interest of so many Earthlings. So in this case, you smoke out the fans where Jackie's just blended in with the crowd with these reactions, hesitations, questions, and research, because what the fans would think is she's just as confused as everyone else with the magic, and she's just researching the Mumin figures and Muni itself that Star talked about alongside everyone else because of plain curiosity, with no meaning behind it. Especially in this case, this will be where I have Jenna beginning to explain and explore witchcraft and magic herself, just to get fans more focused on her and to get some more clarity onto why Janet got so involved with witchcraft in the first place, because it's never explained. And with the way fans dismissed Jackie in the original storyline because they were so locked in with the shipping mess, and most fans hated Jackie because of Starco, I know for sure the smoke scheme will work for most of them, because most fans are clueless shippers. What everyone's thinking is Meteor, who's the one and only descendant, and she's the only attraction, thanks to the smoke bombs he put in place. That's when you implement that glorious plot twist right around the end of a season into a proper cliffhanger. When the bombshells reveal, you wanted to come and catch fans off guard, but have it make sense thanks to the moments and hints dropped along the way. You want to have fans reflect on the many moments and hints throughout the show, and have them piece together that she was not reacting to this question because of common curiosity. No, she reacted that way because of her research, how she pieced together how she fits into some of the events of Muni and Muni's past, thanks to the figures Star described, and some dreams and flashbacks along the way for help in this case. And before you say flashbacks will make it too obvious she's a major piece in the game, I would not make her the only one having flashbacks and dreams regarding certain events. We're still going to have her blending with the crowd, because in most cases it will be just brushed off as either common events or a widespread phenomenon. But I know not all fans are completely oblivious, so it could possibly be treated as they know amongst the Earthlings someone's offering more than they let on. Whereas in this case, having Jenna as a smokescreen could pay off. And knowing the fans' behavior towards Jackie, that will likely work. Now, I know potentially using the memory loss trope is lazy and somewhat basic, but regardless of that, it's still an effective trope to use for a concept like this because it won't burn most people out. And in some cases, basic is not bad at all. It's good to go basic. You don't want to make everything too complicated. And on top of that, I will also edit the future episode where I Star takes the class to Muni instead of the Magic Realm. so they can get some answers to their questions, and more specifically, Jackie getting answers to her own questions regarding herself and how she fits into some of the events on Muni and Muni's/the royal family's past. Oh, and by the way, a concept like this requires proper use of filler. Like have an episode where Marco and Jackie are just hanging out and are still trying to get to know one another, and drop subtle hints regarding topics like how our parents were never seen around town and why they never hung out at Jackie's house yet. Or if your episode's down the line where they're going to a concert, emphasize when Jackie mentioned living in the waterway under the bridge on a few occasions. And once again, editing the future episode, as mentioned previously, fits perfectly into this piece. Like have the episode still be a fun, nice little change of pace, but still have it drop some hints or even smoke bombs for later when the concept continues to evolve. And before I continue explaining this, add to the fact that there's still integration into the monster race and some concept. Here you have on one end, Star and Tom, Monster and Mumin. Eclipse and Glotgore, Monster and Mumin. Jackie and Marco, again half-breed monster, human, Mumin, potentially half-breed if you want to include the monster arm to the equation. Now, you already have Star and Tom, Eclipse and Glotgore as representative of change. Now you add Marco and Jackie into the mix, which will not only add another pairing as proof, but also the realization that the very species that the Mumin public discriminated share a direct relation towards them. Because remember, with Star accelerating Marco's monster side, and Marco accessing his Mumin side later in the series, not to mention the gods upon gods that half-breeds across worlds and dimensions. And bring it to the light that not one, but two potential members of the royal families have been fleeced from their places of the throne could spill even more controversy and make the situation that much more damning with Star and the current royals, which will open many more lanes for character development. And speaking of characters, going back to explain the concept, how this will affect Meteora, because not only does she have the throne and her right as queen potentially taken away, now she has to acknowledge that her sister was taken from her unlawfully, and all this time she had no idea she even had one. This will give Meteora that much more motivation, and this will also open up another concept I have in mind when I discuss the villains later in the video, so stay tuned for that. Sure, this concept is a little cliche, but it's better than wasting Jackie completely. And it gives her that role I've been talking about that could benefit the show if you know what you're doing. And besides, you can utilize this concept to grow in Star as well. Have this improve her critical thinking and thoroughness a little, all necessary when running a kingdom. Think of it like this. While Star must like the fans who think they have the situation all figured out, just for a complete twist to disrupt their theories completely, give Star a better reason to rethink everything. Give her a reason to reflect, retool, reload, and reevaluate, and on top of that, has said overlooks result in major consequences. Like, for example, a loss of a critical objective like the crystal, because in this concept, Jackie, like Meteora, is still searching for their parents, which in this case will be Eclipse and Glotgore. I'm pretty sure you guys already knew that. Okay, anyway. And whereas the royals were locked in on Meteora, they don't account for Jackie with the help of an ally, which I will again get to later. The crystal holding Glotgore is taken right from their noses. And before you say that's impossible, only the crystal guy can move the crystal, seriously, it's pretty easy to run around that. You can have the villains come up with a solution for them to move the crystal themselves thanks to some research or some trial and error or something. That's not hard. And again, I'm pretty sure you're, again, thinking, villains? What villains? Does this mean that Jackie is a villain too in this concept? Well, yes and no. It's about perception. In the eyes of Star and the Royals, and basically most protagonists, emphasis asterisk on protagonists in this case, again, it's about perception. Yeah. They'll view her as the villain because she helped the other villains remove the crystal and free Glotgore. But in the eyes of the fans, Marco would know her intentions were not evil, but as a sympathizer find out more about herself and what was hidden from her. And of course, freeing her parents. Because in this case, Jackie will be very naive at first, as she's just getting back some critical memories and still piecing together every nook and cranny about her events and herself. She's pretty much still being deceived by Meteora, because she knows that Jackie does not know much, and she's going to pretty much use Jackie in this case to get her away. Because while Jackie's intentions are still pure, Meteora's are still evil and out for blood. I'm not really going to twist Jackie's personality that much. It was one of the things I liked the most about her. She still maintains that cool and calm demeanor and overall being a nice and understanding person who does not jump to conclusions. And I'm sure you can guess Meteora in this case will be the exact opposite like she pretty much is in the original storyline. That's nothing. But that, however, is what gave me the idea in the first place to make them sisters. It's the fact that they're complete opposites and how they can complement one another and help see views in different angles, especially Meteor, who in this case who would need to change the views the most. And most of all, not important, because remember, Star's still the main character here. How this will still benefit Star and introduce some conflicts between her and Marco for the benefit of her friendship and character development. So think of it like this. In this case, Star views the problem in a way that her mother and the Royals told her. And while of course she'll still be conflicted like she was in the original, she'll still have the tendency to side with her family because it's quite simply what's more familiar. It's that simple. And as for Marco's side, well, he has heard Jackie's side of the story, and him being on Muni as frequently as Star, having a little bit more free time to kind of roam around and stuff, he kind of comes across certain figures and texts and books that fits Jackie's theories quite well. And I'm pretty sure before you tell me why did Marco tell Star in the first place, it's simply because Star is too busy in knowing Star's character, she's gonna brush off immediately because she's impatient. And that's why you need Star to have improved her patience. Because thanks to Star not being patient enough to listen to Marco's side of the story, she brushed them all too fast, didn't notice viable information, which caused her to lose an objective at hand. Now the two would clash because their views and statements contradict one another and could potentially have Marco on the wrong side of the table regarding the battle between the monsters and the Royals. So think of it like this, because in this concept Star is still in the wrong, but she doesn't have all of her facts down and still left in the dark on some topics. And this will have Star to learn to lower her bias towards the Royals and the life she's used to despite it being her family. And that needs to broaden her mind and her way of thinking, which all, again, could pay dividends when running a kingdom. And in this case, where Star and Marco originally did not hit it off quite well and still gaining comfort and trust around each other, this whole idea could be a massive booster towards Star's trust for Marco and help build their friendship. Of course, after she apologized to Marco and Jackie following the events. And I'm sure you're asking, why doesn't Jackie just tell Star about her findings from the get-go? Do you really think Star would believe Jackie? Star does not take the situation seriously enough to consider Jackie's statements, especially given the other events she's dealing with, and there's no time in her eyes for a loose statement with proof that could qualify for everybody else on Earth. Star most likely brushed off Jackie before she could implement any proof that differs herself from everyone else. And knowing what would be Star's character at this point with impatience topping the list, and knowing Jackie's character, she doesn't seem to be the person who would talk over and get loud over a topic. And this will be a learning opportunity for both of them in this matter. But of course, for Jackie to learn to speak up when situations are very, very serious and don't get brushed off too easily, and for Star to be just lower her patience a little bit, or in this case, have higher patience tolerance. Because in this case, Star not being patient enough and letting Jackie explain herself paid consequences in this area. Jackie not talking up and letting her insecurity and her passiveness kind of override her in this case caused this to happen. Which both could be a critical learning opportunity in the character development down the line. Okay, I'm not really going to dive in more into this because this was just more so to get our feet wet and tap into what could have been. And this is what I mean by wasted potential. And this is why I'm so angry over Jackie. And this is why I will never shut up about it. Because how in the world can you overlook the gold mine that was the brilliant concepts that could have been utilized with her character? And it's one of the main reasons why I hope Jerry never steps foot in any animated project ever again. Because it's just pure lack of just knowledge about what's in front of you. Embarrassing.